Peace and blessings, collective. I'm so happy to be here with you again for another video. Today we are going to be discussing yeast infections. So if this is something that you've been suffering with, stay tuned. Irritant, one of the biggest questions that I get from the ladies that are there and from the women who are gathering in the circles is, how do I get rid of yeast infections? And there's a couple of tips that I personally use to make sure that I keep my pH balance intact, and that I also tell the women who are suffering with yeast infection. So my first tip is going commando. Like, sis, your kitty need to breathe. Take them underwear off. Stop wearing them drawers all the time. Let that kitty breathe. If you are keeping your vagina closed up with them tight underwear on that's not cotton, and they got all of this lace and frill and all this stuff, like, girl, we don't need that. Take those drawers off. Like, the second thing that I'm going to tell you about going commando is wear skirts. When you in a house and you free and you don't have anybody around you, and you, or even if you do have people around you, but if you are in the house and you're able to be free, and other than not wearing any underwear, wear a skirt, because skirts allow the vagina to breathe. You don't have to have anything closing that bad boy up. Yeast grows where there is moisture, where there is darkness, and where there is a lot of friction. So you want to make sure that you're letting your vagina breathe. Other than going commando, like when you're in the house, girl, like, it's very rare that I'm putting on underwear. You hear me? I know this is like TMI, but this conversation is going to be TMI because it's talking about yeast infections. So don't have any shame about going pantyless. If you're uncomfortable going pantyless, start in the house. If you start in the house, you can go pantyless. Nobody will ever even know. It's none of their business. Don't wear any underwear in the house. Don't wear any pants in the house. Just let that bad boy breathe and wear a skirt. I'm telling you, it will do wonders. The second tip that I have for you is Diarcle Tea. Diarcle Tea has been known for cutting the amount of yeast that's in the body. And so what you want to do is you want to take you a pinch full of Diarcle, put it into if you don't have a tea bag, put it into a cheesecloth, tie a knot. After you boil your water, take your Diarcle root, drop it down into the teacup, and then let it steep for about 20 minutes. Cover the teacup up so that all the heat from the tea will stay there. I don't suggest putting it directly into the pot while it's boiling. I suggest that you drop it in either a cheesecloth or those like kind of disposable tea bags that you can get on Amazon. Let it sit and steep 15 to 20 minutes, drink it. Do that 3 times a day. If you do Diarcle 3 times a day, it's going to drastically cut the amount of yeast that's in the yoni. The other thing about Diarcle, for those of you who are like really suffering, and on a normal basis, I'm going to tell you, I don't tell women to douche. But if you are in fact dealing with a yeast infection and it's really bad, you can take the douche bottle that you get from like Rite Aid, or like the water pack, or even the disposable kind, and you want to take tea. You want to take about a cup of Diarcle. You want to make a tea with it. You're going to put the Diarcle into the pot, about a cup of it, boil it in about 3 cups of water. Do that for about 15-20 minutes. Make sure you strain it really well. Don't leave any particles in it. And then you're going to give yourself a Diarcle douche. And what this is going to do is it's going to help to regain the pH balance that's in the womb. Now, if you are a woman that's dealing with some other issues, consult your doctor before, and I'm sure they're probably going to tell you don't douche, but I'm telling you from my own experience dealing with PCOS or suffering with it before, I have figured out ways to heal yeast infection. Because if you are also a woman that's dealing with PCOS, endometriosis, any of those kind of things, you probably have too. But from my own experience, this is something that has helped me and it has healed me, and in the homeopathic realm, it's suggested. My third suggestion is chlorophyll. Chlorophyll, for those of you, I guess you can see this, and this is the brand that I use. Chlorophyll is like having a liquid plant. It's like a really concentrated version of liquid plant. Not only is it well known for regaining the pH balance in the body, it's also known to be a internal deodorant. For some people who don't need like a lot of deodorant, or who use natural deodorant, they actually drink chlorophyll, and it cuts down on body odor like you would not believe. Like, I cannot explain to you how much chlorophyll has saved my life and so many other women's lives that are in the red tent that I suggested this to. They rant and rave about chlorophyll. If you don't have some, get you some. The fourth thing that I want to tell you is cut all sweets, all carbs, all products that have a lot of sugar in it, like juices, even honey, even agave, even raw sugar, everything. Drink nothing but water for 2 weeks straight. This is going to regain the pH balance in the body. The reason that you're getting a yeast infection in the first place is that your pH balance is off. And so the way that you regain your pH balance, despite what Monistat says and any other doctor is telling you from a homeopathic standpoint, the way that you regain the pH balance in the body is to cut the things that are throwing your pH balance off. So the way that you do that is you stop carbs, you stop sweets, and you stop even natural sweeteners. Like I said, you stop any and all things that have sugar in them and sugar contents. I would even cut fruits, because fruits even transfer into sugars after you consume them. Drink water, eat vegetables, eat meat if you're a meat eater. If you're not a meat eater, eat vegetables. Those carbs are going to constantly keep on creating sugars in the body that you don't want. And then my fifth thing and my last suggestion is yoni steaming. If you have not checked out my other videos, go check them out. I'll put a link right here for you. And yoni steaming is actually one of the things that I suggest to the women in the red tent who are dealing with yeast infections. If you are not familiar with yoni steaming, it has a lot of different benefits and it does a lot of different things for the yoni. But one of the major things that it does is it helps to release all negative and stagnated energy in the womb, and it helps to regain balance in the womb energetically, pH balance wise, as well as physically. So if you are experiencing yeast infections, if you follow these 5 tips, I'm telling you, within the week, you're going to see a major difference. I have used them myself. I have given them to my clients who come to me for yoni steaming, or who come to me during childbirth, or who come to me for homeopathic remedies and things like that in the red tent. This is something that I use as a therapy across the board for all women who are suffering with yeast infections. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do not forget to give it a thumbs up, and in fact, subscribe to my channel if you have not yet, because there are going to be so many more tips and tricks that I'm going to be giving you guys for dealing with our yonis, for keeping that girl in balance, for making sure that she's at her optimal health. Because I mean, who wants to have a yoni that ain't right? Who wants to have a yoni that's not right? Everybody wants their girl to be right. Like, we need her to be operating. We need her to be at her optimal best. All right, I love you guys. Peace.